Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad to hear this morning. We have a great show lined up, some special guests here in the studio. But first, our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin and 77. High today, it's not going to get really high. How about a 56 and a low of about 36? So we're enjoying this really cool weather. It's really nice to be refreshing to have some of this cool, dry weather for a change. So take advantage of it, enjoy it, take a walk out around the neighborhood. Or, don't trip up all the trees and all, but just take a good walk and enjoy the great outdoors if you don't do anything else, but just walk around. Water temperature 63.7. Our river readings, Apalachicola, Bluntstown, it's below 20 foot for the first time in a good while. It's 18.9. It's going to be dropping out for the weekend. If you're looking on the chart there, it's still going to be high though. And Choctawhatchee at Caryville, it's down to 11.9. Both of them are still really high. So, be careful out there if you get on the river this weekend. Tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn right here on 23rd Street. We're looking at a decent tide today. A high tide is at 8:56. I'm sorry, the low tide, the winter tide now. Remember, the winter tide is low in the mornings, 8:56 this morning, and the high tide is at 10:56 tonight. Have a 1.1 range there. Marine forecast coming out of the north, starting off in the morning about 8 to 9, and then it's going to be variable later on in the afternoon. It'll die down to about 4 miles per hour. All right, let's take a break, come back with our guest. Okay, welcome back, and look at our guest today. Familiar faces for a little while back. Andy Cobb.
Coach.
Good morning, Andy.
Good to see you. Good morning.
Good morning. Mike Mathis.
Hey, how you doing?
Good to have you. And Florida Forest Service, and we are glad to have you all. And man, we have a lot of questions from a lot of viewers. Want to know what's going on. But first, I'm asking my guest to let's talk about what all happened when y'all had the storm and what. Andy,
Wow.
Andy was in one of my very first outdoor classes at Moser way back in the 90s. I've been following him. He was a heck of a ball player and all, and been with Forest Service how long now?
I've been with the state for 10 years
10
now.
years, yeah. Yeah, I know you love to fight those fires. We have a good time fighting fires. We like to do that. But this year's going to be a little challenging.
Different.
Before we get into it, we're going to talk about their background, what they've done, and all. Then we're going to talk about what's going on now and what the future is going to hold about fighting fires and all. But you got hit pretty hard too.
Yeah, Coach. It's kind of the same story. It's pretty common for a lot of people, like everybody else. My house got hit hard. I lost my boat. That's been rough on me. Personally,
hey, nice. Yeah, tell them what kind of nice boat.
Yeah, I had a little sports fisherman, and yeah, I can handle not having power, electricity, or sleeping in a camper for the next year. But that boat, that really got to me.
And that I know you lost most of you. Like I say, you're in a camper in the driveway, like so many people, and then you and the wife had just got a place at Mexico.
We had got a place in Mexico Beach, and that you can kind of imagine how that turned out. We had water up there on the second story of that home, about 3 feet deep. So that was.
Now, did you hear that, folks? He's on the second story and still got 3 feet of water. That tells you something.
Yeah, it was pretty.
But it's still standing.
It's still standing. We're going to be able to rebuild, which is better than a lot of people. A lot of people can't say that. We're very, very thankful for that. But just day to day, trying to put things back together.
We understand that. All right, Mike, you're a little bit fortunate. Before we get about you, let's talk about your background. How you got into the Forestry Service?
Well, I went to the University of Georgia, go Dogs, in '95. It's been a while, but through various companies, forestry companies, and everything else, I ended up with the Florida Forest Service about 11 years ago, and it's been a great career.
And you're the district supervisor? What's your title?
I'm the center manager of the Chipola District, Florida Forest Service, and we have 7 counties in this area, roughly 87 employees right now. And our main office was on 15th Street in Panama City, but we're now located on 7070 or 388.
We'll call Vicksburg. The old Vicksburg Tower.
Our old Vicksburg site. Yeah. So talking about damages, we have a lot A lot of damages that happened, but the fortunate thing is nobody got hurt, nobody got injured. There's no fatalities within our Chipola family, so that was good.
That was awesome and all. I didn't realize you had that many people working for you. Did y'all, I guess when it first hit and all, everybody sort of got back together on your job and all, your challenge, what was your first challenge?
First challenge was trying to figure out if everybody was okay.
Okay.
Our communications were down, so the biggest thing was we were using our radios in our truck to communicate with each other, and we were going house to house to search out people that did not have phone service to make sure all of our employees were doing well.
Yeah. Then once you got everybody sort of together and all, I noticed y'all have people coming into the Vicksburg Tower, and there were campers and all, and people just staying there to help out. Is that what was going on there, or just?
Well, that's our new office right now, our temporary office. We're going to build a better facility, but right now that's where the main headquarters is.
Okay.
We had crews on the ground the next day that were clearing roads for, so people could access, for emergency personnel and just to simply get out of their homes. So that we were.
Did y'all have like a chainsaw brigade? Is that sort of how y'all? Or did y'all have big machinery? You had your big machinery pushing?
We had so many chainsaws. Yeah. Chainsaws and bulldozers and excavators.
If I'd had time, I would like to video some of that, because I know y'all were going to town.
It was just, the first thing you do in something like that, you before anything gets better, people got to have access. You got to have access to emergency crews, access to supplies, to make sure you're going to make it. So that was a big part of those first few days and hours after the storm.
Yeah, I had a friend that had to clear out his front yard. Ben and Marshall Forehand had to clear their front yard so a medevac helicopter could land in there to take someone that really needed help. So
yes, sir.
That was so I know people caught up in that. Now, as far as the, we're going to take a break. We'll come back to what's going on right now, what y'all doing right now, and then we're going to talk about the future and what's going to be happening with it. So let's take this break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Still with Foresters Andy Cobb, Mike Mathis here. We're glad to have everybody watching today, and we've got a situation where the great Florida Panhandle has a lot of woods in it.
Oh, it did.
It did. and we're in a situation here, and I was up there at my property the other day, and I was cutting, trying to, like everybody, try to cut a path to the old campsite, and one of my viewers, I cut this and had one of the trees I cut, and it had this blue stuff in it. Mike, you knew right away about this. One of my viewers also knew it. So let's look at this. Tell us what this is and what's going on here.
Yes, sir. That's basically a fungus that gets into the tree after it's deceased. And the beetles carry it into the just below the bark as a fungus, and they will weave their way around into the bark of the tree and leave that fungus all through the canals for basically the offspring to feed off of to repopulate.
I didn't know that.
I learn something new every day.
The problem is once that blue stain gets in there, it's if you cut it up for lumber, it's an indication that it came off of a deceased tree, and then the questions about how long it's been dead and the actual strength of the lumber.
So it's not marketable then. So.
Yeah, and unfortunately, under dry and hot conditions, we can see blue stain within a week to 2 weeks of
wow,
a tree dying. So
you think that's going to be a problem throughout the Panhandle?
Yeah, it's becoming a problem, and once it does, once it gets that blue stain, it's basically pulpwood after that, a pulpwood product, which is our lower end financial product that we can get.
Okay, well that's interesting to know. So you mentioned during the break right there that we as a Panhandle and we as a Forestry Service are in uncharted territory as to what we're going to be doing. So, well, what's y'all's plan?
Well, fighting fire. We do ours by tractors and equipment and stuff like that. So, what's happened is you have these really big trees. A lot of them in that 20 to 30 year range. They're broken over. They're laying on the ground, which makes it very hard, almost impossible in some cases, to put a good line in or to even get the tractors out there to where you can work. So we're doing some things to try to figure out what we're going to do. You know, we have people planning on this and working on this and things in the works. But one of the things that's probably really needs to be concentrated on, and our viewers and people in the Panhandle can help us with this, is prevention. The best way to fight it is for it not to start, you know, in the first place. And we have a lot of people that, you know, they're going to be wanting to clean up and burn, and
especially in the spring and all. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But you were talking about, you flew yesterday over the area and all. What did you see flying over?
It's a lot of. We were looking at it from a firefighting point of view, and what we were looking at is the trees are in the major impact zone are kind of crisscrossed with each other. Well, that makes it extremely difficult for a bulldozer to move quickly in the woods. So what we're looking at as a fuel assessment in a fire danger is you have what we call jackstrawed trees, and it's let a lot of light on the forest floor. So come spring, you're going to have a lot of things growing, bushes and what we call flashy fuel, stuff that burns really quickly. So we have old fuel that burns a lot and smokes a lot, and then stuff that can run through on a good breeze. So we're developing tactics and assessments. The biggest thing is safety.
It looks like we're in like a perfect storm for fires. I mean, it looks like it's shaping up for that.
Yes, sir. We're bringing in bigger equipment. We're positioning helicopters where they need to be as a plan when the fire danger gets bad, and you know, more equipment, heavier equipment, and we'll call in other personnel throughout the state to assist with us when the.
You mentioned this, Michael, when you're flying over yesterday, you could see where the eye wall actually hit. How does that look from the air?
Well, basically everything looked like toothpicks on the ground.
Wow.
And you know, the outside of it, you could see where there was damage, and you know, you maybe had 50% of the trees down, but it still looked like a stand. And then you fly over it, and it's still going to be a problem for us. So
wow.
It's definitely a challenge.
Getting back to a lot of people, you know, a lot of these forest, you know, people growing trees and all. This was their like retirement. And
yes,
I know
sir.
I have some friends throughout Calhoun County and Liberty County and all that lost a lot. And like I say, we really can't insure, and it's a safer crop. I mean, who would ever think this would happen? We were talking about it earlier.
Yeah, I mean, we lost a couple of counties worth. You know, sometimes you lose some to disease or wildfire, but to lose as much as we have lost, it's just not something that you can plan for or expect to ever happen.
And I was checking on the prices of pulpwood. I think going from a pulp load going from $11 a ton to $2 a ton, and saw timber from 27 down to 16, and so how long would something like that happen? I mean, for a couple of years or months, or what you thinking on? Like I say, that's going to be diseased trees, so they're not going to be able to really do much with them, are they?
Yeah, right now it's just a pulpwood product, and they're saying, you know, 2 or 3 months from now it's you know, questionable whether we can sell that as pulpwood or not. It depends on the weather conditions and things like that of it sitting out there. But the main thing I encourage is a county forester. We have one in every county, to go see them, and they can assess your land. And they can provide suggestions on whether you may need assistance from the federal government, the NRCS, Natural Resource Conservation Service, and they can be your starting point to kind of point you in the right direction.
That's important. And we're going to take a break in a minute. We're going to talk about, you know, cutting your fire lanes and all. It used to be fairly easy to do, like you say, but now it's going to be a challenge. But I've got my little 40 acres, you know, square and all, and I used to be pretty safe, but now I've got trees, so I'm going to ask you, when, you know, we're going to come back talking about what we can do. And to me, I got a buddy's got a bulldozer. I'm just going to get him to push everything out of the way and just try to cut us a line.
Yeah,
that's going to be just basic common sense to me.
Yeah.
But we don't know how wide they're making that kind of stuff. So we're going to take our final break. Come right back. Okay, welcome back. So here we're our forest with the State Forest Service, our foresters here, and then Mike, and all kind of valuable information. And let's take a look at our fishing game times before we get back with you guys. This is brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers down in Port St. Joe. Our times today, 3:03 a.m. to 5:03. and this evening from 3:24 to 5:24. And just we got to throw this out real quick. How's the fishing been?
If it rains anymore, I'll be able to catch grouper in my yard. It'll be that deep. Man, we've had some rain.
We have, and you haven't had a lot of time to go out either, have you?
No,
you don't have a boat.
No, I don't have a boat. I'm just the water keeps getting higher, so I'm hoping to be able to fish from my porch before long.
I know you really love to fish. I get some good pictures from you.
Have you talked to anybody that's been lately?
Well, it's really been slow.
Yeah.
It's really been slow. A few guys are catching some redfish. They caught some grouper in the bay, and Apalachicola, Choctawhatchee Bay, it's all full of fresh water and all.
Yeah.
So it's been slow right now, so it's a good time to work on trees, I guess. You were mentioning, let's talk about this chart right here. If you're going to burn, let's go ahead. We got this chart here, and this is a good one here. So Andy, don't have to have too much of a job. Tell us about it.
Like I said, a lot of people are wanting to clean up in their yard, so they're raking up their yard debris, and they're going to be wanting to burn and all that. So with the situation that we have with as much fuel on the ground, just be careful. And some rules here, your fire has to be 25 feet from the tree line or combustible structure, shed, stuff like that. It needs to be 25 feet from your house. You're going to have to be 150 foot from other people's buildings and homes.
Okay.
And then about 50 feet, well, not about, it is 50 feet from a public, a paved road.
Okay.
And your piles, you can't just pile them up really big. 'Cause, I mean, everybody wants to get as much done as possible. But if your pile is bigger than 8 foot by 8 foot, you need to call us and get a permit. The permit's free. It's just to help us know that, hey, you're burning in this area, so we're not chasing smokes. Good rule of thumb, 8 by 8 pile. If it'll fit in the bed of your truck, that if it starts getting any bigger than that, that's a good rule of thumb to go by. That you just call and get a permit. There's nothing to it. It's a simple process. It just makes our job a little bit easier.
Good idea. Good idea. Good rule right there. And so when y'all see smoke and all, sort of ahead of time.
Yeah, you have a big pile. I'm wondering if we don't know if it's a wildfire or what, but we can call it if you got a permit. We're like, oh, well, that's such and such burning over there.
Y'all don't have the towers anymore, do you? Do y'all?
No, the one in Youngstown, I think just about all of them in our district blew down during this storm.
We had 4 go down.
We had four towers.
And one was daily manned.
Yeah.
And that one's down too.
Where was it?
Smith Tower.
Okay.
Calhoun County.
Well, okay, Mike, we were talking about, again during the break, about the future and all, and the timber companies and people that have land, about planning and all. Again, it's uncharted. What are you seeing in the future? What do we need to do, and what do you think people are going to do?
Well, we always preach planning when it comes to reforestation, because there's certain activities you need to do through the year, whether it be herbicide spraying or prescribed burning or just really anything. It comes in certain times of the year to be able to line yourself up to plant in January, February, which is our usual planting time. What we expect is depending on, there's a lot of requests from the NRCS federal government for reforestation assistance, and depending on how much that is and what the regulations are, we see a big increase in reforestation in the next probably 3 years.
So it'd like be in stages, like right this first year, everybody sort of tied up, cleaning up. But you think it'll be more and more each year? And
yes, sir. I think there's so much of it all over the place that it'll really ramp up in the next couple of years, and you'll probably be planting in 3 years if you're as a last leg of the problem.
Now, where do people get seedlings from and all? What do you recommend people get seedlings if they want to start replanting?
There's several local nurseries throughout the state that we always recommend. We have a list. The county forester would be glad to provide that list. If you don't have that number, our main dispatch number is 373-1801.
Okay.
And they'll be glad to direct you to wherever county forester is, or how they can direct your call, basically.
And that county forester, that's a good resource for people right now. So that's what we're here for. So contact that, and that guy can maybe point people in the right direction to get this back on track.
But the biggest initial challenge we're going to see, once everything's settled down and the wood starts dying out, you're going to be that lighter wood, really. And we know about lighter. And like I said, it crisscrossed, and it's just going to be, and then new growth coming up. It's like you say, that's going to be scary when one breaks out.
Yeah, it's hard to move around in it. Hard to. Yeah, it's going to be a challenge.
As far as like that, say let's take instance Appalachian National Forest or pine log, all of our state lands. Are y'all going to just sort of put perimeters around them, go ahead and get your trails, like you used to do? Or how do you?
Well, it's a process. So you want the good roads for the access, and you keep the fire lines maintained, and I'm sure that at some point there will be some controlled burning to remove fuel and make it a safer environment for people and for the forest itself.
That was the question I was going to have about controlled burning, and people still go through the process of controlled burns and all. Touch base with y'all to make sure how's going to be the process on that.
That's part of an ongoing thing that we're
just working on.
Yeah. Mike would.
We have more regulations in place just to prevent fire accidents, but. Right now the main thing is you call dispatch, our dispatch office, and they'll give you the regulations. We're currently requiring what we call an on-site inspection for all burning authorizations. So it means the ranger will come out there and take a look at it, determine it's
okay.
Give you some recommendations too.
We've got to wrap it up and all, but this, like I say, now we really need to work together with this because it could get out of hand. We got guys who want to really help us and all. So, like I say, call them and touch base with them and help everybody out. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. Good to see you.
Appreciate it.
All right, Mike. Good to have you. I hope you get a chance to go fishing soon.
Me too.
Okay.
Hey, can I go?
Thank you all for watching Panhandle Outdoors. You do something good for your fellow man today, and have a great day, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.